Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into one of the biggest, most confusing questions in all of tech right now. What is the future of artificial general intelligence, or AGI? The thing is, the very people building it, well, they can't seem to agree on what it's going to look like, or even when it's going to get here. So let's try to unravel this whole thing together.
What is actually going on here? You listen to one expert, and AGI is practically knocking on the door, ready to change everything by 2026. Then you listen to another, and nope, it's a distant dream, maybe decades away, and we're not even on the right path. How can both of those things possibly be true at the same time?
All right, so let's look at one side of this. You've got guys like Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic. He came out and said, with a whole lot of confidence, that by 2026 or 2027, AI systems are going to be better than humans at, well, almost everything. This isn't some fuzzy, far-off prediction. It's a really specific timeline from someone who is right there at the cutting edge. But then you flip the coin completely. You've got Yann LeCun, who runs AI at Meta, basically saying the exact opposite. He says that what we're doing now, just making our current models bigger and bigger, it's like building taller and taller ladders to try and reach the moon. Sure, it's impressive, but it's just the wrong tool for the job. You'll never get there. It's never going to achieve what he calls the escape velocity for true intelligence. Okay, so you see the clash here, and this huge disagreement, it really boils down to two totally different philosophies. Two camps, really, even though they're both aiming for the same goal. It's a fundamental fight over how we get to AGI. And we're going to call them the scalers and the architects. So you've got these two completely different takes on the future. Camp number one thinks we're already on the AGI superhighway, and all we need to do is floor it. Camp number two says, hold on, we're on a pretty country road that, just doesn't go to that destination. To really get what's going on, you have to know who's in which camp. And this is what's so wild. Camp Scalar, it's led by the people running the biggest AI labs today. We're talking Sam Altman at OpenAI, Dario Amodei at Anthropic, even Elon Musk over at xAI. Their core belief, it's that the AI we have right now, these large language models, they're the right foundation. For them, getting to AGI is basically an engineering challenge. Just pour in more data, throw more computing power at it, and keep refining. It's all about scale. But then you have Camp Architect with people like Yann LeCun who are pumping the brakes and saying, not so fast. They argue that these current models, they have a hard ceiling. They can't really reason or plan ahead. They think we need a whole new playbook, brand new designs, like systems that can build an internal world model to truly get cause and effect. And then you've got Geoffrey Hinton, one of the godfathers of AI, with this really fascinating and kind of scary take. He actually thinks scaling does work, but the thing it's creating is a kind of alien intelligence, something so different from us that we might never be able to truly understand it or, control it. And so this clash of ideas, it leads to this complete collision of timelines. Just look at this. It's all over the map. You have Musk and Altman pointing to AGI as soon as next year or the year after, with super high confidence. But then you get Demis Hassabis from Google DeepMind, and he's more like, 50-50 chance in the next 5 to 10 years. And Yann LeCun, he's pushing it out beyond a decade, if his approach even pans out. This isn't just a small difference of opinion. It's a massive, fundamental disagreement from the people who are literally building this stuff. So they are miles apart on the when and the how. But this is where the story gets really interesting. Because for all their disagreements on the timeline, they're actually starting to find some scary common ground when it comes to the risks. Yeah, when you start to pull together all their different warnings, you see this clear 3-stage timeline of risk pop out. First, in the very near term, like right now to the next couple of years, the big worry is job displacement. Makes sense. Then you look at the medium term, say 3 to 7 years out. That's when the warnings get way more serious. We're talking catastrophic misuse, like AI-designed bioweapons or autonomous weapons. And then, long-term, you get to the ultimate fear, losing control completely, the kind of existential risk that keeps people like Geoffrey Hinton up at night. And you can really see how the danger level ramps up. Short-term, job displacement, that's already a high-level concern. But now, just look at that middle column, that medium-term window, just 3 to 7 years from now.
that's where everything just lights up. Critical, high, across the board, from synthetic biology to autonomous weapons. This right here, this is the danger zone that all these leaders from both camps are starting to point at.
And if you had to pick the single most urgent thing they're all agreeing on right now, it's this: the risk of AI being misused for synthetic biology. The fact that AI systems can now design brand new proteins, like DeepMind's Syngin did, that sent a real shockwave through the community. Leaders from Hassabis to Amodi to Hinton all now agree this has gone from some sci-fi threat to a very practical, very real security problem we have to deal with in the next few years.
All right, so we've got totally conflicting timelines, but this strange converging view on risk. As this story keeps moving at a crazy speed, how are you supposed to tell what's real progress and what's just noise? Let's give you a framework for that.
I mean, this is the whole ball game, right? With all this conflicting info flying around, what's real and what's just hype? When you see that next big headline about an AI breakthrough, how do you know if it's a real signal or just a red flag?
Okay, so let's talk real signals. These are the things to watch for. Look for actual, verifiable evidence. For instance, when a model can show its work, like with process-supervised reasoning, that's a real breakthrough in reliability. When a small open-source model like Hermes 3 starts hitting performance levels of the giant, closed models, that's real progress. When you hear about companies building $10 billion data centers just for one training run, that's a very real signal. And of course, when an AI actually designs something new in the real world, like a protein, that's a direct scientific application. These are the things that actually matter.
And on the flip side, here are the hype flags to watch out for. Get skeptical when you hear vague marketing terms, like a truth-seeking AI. What does that even mean in a technical sense? How can you prove it's true or false? Watch out for what I call definition inflation, where they start slapping the AGI label on what's really just a better chatbot. And be really suspicious when AGI predictions just happen to line up perfectly with a big funding round or a product launch. If there's a huge claim without any new, fundamental research to back it up, you should probably take it with a grain of salt. So after all of this, what's the big takeaway? It's that the debate itself is the story. Seriously. Right now, it's less about who's right on the timeline and more about understanding this fundamental tension, this push and pull between the scalers who are just gunning it forward and the architects who are yelling that we need to change direction entirely. That dynamic is what defines this whole moment. If you can watch that interplay, you'll understand what's really going on.
And all of this leaves us with what might be the single most important question we face. It's not just for the tech people, it's for all of us. As we all try to get ready for what's coming, how do we possibly build the right guardrails for a technology when its own creators can't even agree on where it's headed? That is the incredible challenge we're all left with.